Hello and welcome back to this edition of Rockies Recap. We're recapping the Rockies and the Milwaukee Brewers series. And before we talk about that game two, we want to thank you all for watching. And if you're not subscribed to Rockies Now here on YouTube, feel free to do so. We do every Rockies recap. We're going to be doing it every single series of the 2025 season. Adam, how are you doing, my man?
Hey, Steve, good to talk to you again, man. I feel like I haven't worked with you for a while, so this is nice. Although I love Tom too, but I'm very excited to recap the Brenton Doyle versus the Brewers, the Brenton versus Brewers series with you.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, gotta love the on-air sign that Adam so you gotta love that.
Shout out my girlfriend.
Yes, shout out Adam's girlfriend. We have Lux here in the comments. Good to see you, Lux, back here in the chat. Zach Veen is indeed the best Zach in Rockies history.
Amen, brother.
Let's get into the series against the Brewers. And obviously, Adam, you went to the final game against the Athletics, which was obviously fun. And it was a fun vibe heading into the Brewers series because it's like, hey, the Rockies are turning the page here. We're bringing up some of these young prospects and Dollander and Zach Veen. Can the Rockies, turn around the slow start? And game one actually was off to a pretty decent start. It was, Kyle Freeland versus Freddie Peralta, who's done pretty well against the Rockies in his career. But the Rockies have found ways in the past to get by them. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The Brewers scored 4 runs in the third inning. They got to Kyle Freeland, Christian Yelich, and Contreras went back-to-back, I think, in game one. And Contreras, and this is a Brewers team that has struggled offensively to start the season. They were 500 heading into Colorado, but they found their groove, Adam, in this series. And we'll get to game two here. But Freeland, overall, not too bad, I thought. He went into the 7th inning, and I necessarily did not like how we kept Freeland in the game a little bit longer than we should have. In the 7th inning, it looked like there comes a point in time where you take him out and you say, hey, great job. Let's get some rest here. But they kept him in a little bit longer than I was expecting. But Freeland still had a pretty okay outing, 6 innings with 8 hits allowed, 5 runs, 5 strikeouts. The good thing I like here, Adam, is no walks. And that's one thing that the Rockies have done well this year is not walking any guys. And again, that could change any game here because we're excited to see starting pitching, start off the season very hot. And of course, we give up a 17 spot in game 2, but that's one positive to see. And even though we lost game 1, Adam, the Rockies, all the pitchers, they never surrendered a walk, so that was good to see. But 3 homers, that's a problem. And yeah, Jimmy Herget, he didn't do well that inning. Only 2 outs. He was able to get 3 hits and 2 runs allowed and 2 home runs, so that was bad. Tyler Kinley, even though he got a strikeout and pitched that inning, he still did not look good. He was still giving me a little bit of a hard tack there. And then Chivy, he's having a pretty rough go of it as well, even though he was able to get out of that inning scoreless there and did get a strikeout. But you look at Kinley and Chivy, both with ERAs above 10. Game 1 was not good whatsoever for the Rockies, especially offensively. It feels like Brenton Doyle is the only guy on this team that's carrying offense. The first week was Hunter Goodman. Now is Brenton Doyle. And Brenton Doyle was able to get a second home run. And Moniak was able to get a double there, his first double of the season, second extra base hit of his Rockies career. But yeah, Adam, game 1 wasn't a huge surprise because of what we've seen in the first week of Rockies baseball.
Yeah. So to your point, when you're talking about the Freeland situation, right? It's like he's dealing in game 1 and you take him out at, I think it was 67 pitches or something like that. And then he's not dealing after a while in this game, and you decide to leave him in. It's just like, it gets to a point where you're wondering what is going on with the whole Bud Black situation, right? It's like, what is the reason that he's here, right? First, it was, I think when he was first brought into the Rockies, it was the perfect hire because we had a veteran team that was ready to win. They were turning the corner. He's good in that situation. But in this situation, It's like you talk to people and it's like, well, he develops pitching. Where? Like, so the mismanagement of Kyle Freeland in that game was upsetting for sure. And then we're looking at this, and I'm combining game 1 and game 2. 1 for 16 runners in scoring position. So in this first game, the Rockies were 0 for 8. They struck out 14 times, guys. That's over half their outs. So this is something that's going to be problematic for the Rockies. And Steven and I have been talking about lineup construction, and we're going to get into that probably here in a little bit. But, something has to change with the way the Rockies approach their at-bats, torpedo bats, corked bats, whatever it is, man. Like, we got to get it together. Obviously, I'm not telling the Rockies to cheat or anything like that, but it's getting to that point where it's getting frustrating. So, yeah, game 1 was there was just nothing going on for the Rockies.
Yeah, and it's because this is at Coors Field. It's not like you're in Milwaukee or Philadelphia or New York. Despite some of those places are, hitter friendly like Yankee Stadium, but this is your home field advantage. Now, granted, I will say that the home crowd at Coors Field, I mean, it's no big surprise, but the Rockies, nobody's going to a Rockies game when they've lost back-to-back 100 loss seasons. And we got our guy Tom in the chat here. Hey, Tom. And but yeah, like we got to see improvement in the offense, man. Like, and torpedo bats or not, it's really about the hitter, and that's what Jazz Chisholm said, who I absolutely love, and he's one of my favorite ball players right now. And the Rockies got to fix something offensively. And they just got to hit better. And again, it's still early. We're still seeing some organizations out there just not doing well offensively. The Braves, who are kind of like us right now, they're 2-9. So it's, hey, we can actually say this because it's actually true. The Rockies are better than the Atlanta Braves. Who would have thunk, Adam? So, but yeah, heading into game 2, it was more of like, hey, let's bounce back here. Zach Veen, who, by the way, got his first hit. We might have not mentioned that, but he got his first hit. It was a bunt, and I loved how he was aggressive on the base paths. And we got a couple people I remember in the chat on Instagram replying with the Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean run, and it reminded me a little bit of that, where he's going to second base. But no, Zach Veen, man, he looked good, and in game 2, despite the loss, as we get into game 2 here, Zach Veen, he was able to get a walk. He was aggressive, and you gotta love to see it. And he's only 23 years old in his second ever game, and how bad the game was. I mean, and it's crazy looking at the box score here, man, because the Rockies, offensively, of course, we know that they only scored 2 runs here. But if you look at the Brewers, the problem for the Rockies pitching was they gave up runs in bunches. It wasn't like spread out. It was 5 runs in the third, 5 runs in the fifth. Then they had 7 runs in the 9th inning. Like, what's going on here? What's going on? And so it's not because and you look at the other innings like, hey, great, they didn't allow a run in the first, second, fourth, 6th, or 7th. It's just like they can't allow these big innings to get out of hand.
Yeah.
And the Rockies committed 4 errors yesterday, Adam. That cannot happen. And a part of me will say this, again, we've mentioned it in the past recaps. It's early in the season. Like, guys have their jitters. Tyler Freeman made an error today that he should have made. And again. And it's just like the guy, and he's had a decent glove when he was with Cleveland. We saw the Gold. I mean, he was a Gold Glove candidate, I believe, not too long ago for the Guardians. And so we got to see that improve. And I think these innings just need to stop getting out of hand. And Jackson Chourio, man, he's insane. He had a 3-run home
deal.
Run. And Christian Yelich, the guy always owns us at Coors Field. I don't know why. He always hits bombs. I feel like every single time he comes here, he hits a nuke to the rooftop. Bryce Terang, he's having a really good start. He has a big hitting streak going on right now. I think that actually ended today. So hats off to the Rockies pitchers. But yeah, Yelich went 2 for 5, but he's having a really slow start to the year. Contreras, he went 1 for 4, but got a couple of RBIs there. Let me see here. Sal Frelick, the guy's on fire. 356 at the end of yesterday's game, with an OPS of 853. Yeah, it's just the Brewers. They have these sneaky guys, and I mean they have good defenders too. I mean, I think they got a couple Gold Glovers last year. I think it was a Train got the Platinum Glove, I think, and it should have been Doyle, but just our opinion here at Rockies now.
Nothing, no homerism here.
No, none whatsoever. And then you had Ortiz, who is a decent third baseman, but he's playing shortstop this year because of Adames in San Fran. But yeah, I mean, everything was clicking for the Brewers last night, and I think a part of that too was because of Senzatella, who, despite his first two starts, Senzatella has given up like hard contact. Like you look at the exit velo on all the like in the first two matchups, it's scary. Despite the ERA, it's just he's playing Houdini here, and it did not work against the Brewers here in game two, and yeah, so it really came back to bite him. Yeah, like Senzatella, 9 runs, eight eight runs allowed, earned runs allowed. Wasn't able to get out of the fifth inning. The positive, only 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and he's not a strikeout guy whatsoever. But yeah, Halverson was awful. But fortunately, he was able to get the save today, which was great. So it was one of those games, Adam. It's not these guys are horrible. No, I mean there's still plenty of talent here in the bullpen, and we talked about it numerous occasions. It's just that it was just not going well, and I just feel like the confidence for the Rockies team and the clubhouse too. Like we talked about it as well. I feel like the clubhouse really doesn't have that Charlie Blackmon, and so everybody's kind of down. There's no hype man in this clubhouse, and
well, there is now.
There is now Zach Veen, which we've been praying for times like these. But yeah, man, it was awful. I didn't watch game two. I saw the score. The first score I saw was like I think 5-0. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. Then the next time I checked, it was like 10-2. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching the game tonight. And when I went to bed last night, I saw the score. It was like 14-1 or 14-2. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights. And then when I saw 17-2, I'm like, oh my goodness. So it was just like, man, it just sucks. It just that's what it felt like last night. It just sucks. Like right now, we'll be honest, the Rockies they sucked. And so I was just, man, it's going to be tough to win tomorrow. And coming into today, Ryan Feltner, who honestly has been probably one of the least better pitchers in the Rockies or like the rotation to start the year. He actually had a really good game today. And he was according to Bud Black, Adam, he was pitching through a flu bug. And he pitched 6 innings today, only 1 run allowed. That was great to see. And he had 7 strikeouts too. And this guy, again, he kind of came out of nowhere a couple years ago where we called him up from AA because we had no starting pitching. And Ryan Feltner has really grown. Yeah, a little bit too early. And he's grown into one of the best Rockies pitchers in this rotation. And gotta love what you see there. And but yeah, game 2 wasn't so fun. But yeah, so far the Rockies, they bounced back, which was really what mattered in today's game. Beautiful day at the ballpark. And as somebody pointed out in our Instagram comments in our final score post, can we please petition to play day games at Coors Field? Because that's only when our offense shows up and we actually win games. So I don't know. Adam,
well, I'd like to go back to game 2 real quick. The Seth Halverson situation. It's always tough to put a closer in a non-save situation. They just don't thrive. It for whatever reason, no matter what closer you're talking about, it's just not the way that it's not a situation that they train themselves to pitch in. So for whatever reason, it's just never a good situation for a closer. So I give him a little bit of a pass on that one. He is a young arm still. He's still learning how to, pitch in this league and stuff like that too. So we'll see how it turns out for him, but I'm not too worried about him because he's got excellent stuff. But again, going back to game 2, runners in scoring position, 1 for 8. So if you combine game 1 and game 2, they were 1 for 16. They struck out 25 times in the first 2 games combined. It's just the empty at bats are not helping the Rockies. They're not going to help any team. And again, the middle of the order, I know Bud Black is searching, but you can't keep throwing, Chris Bryant in the middle of the order. Yeah, I mean, I know we want to support him. I know we want him to do good, but
Yeah.
it's just not working out there. Whereas with Tolia, he's a younger player, so we give him a little bit more grace. He's a fantastic defensive player, so he brings value, and he is starting to hit the ball a little bit better, so he's having better at bats. But the Rockies are going to have to do something about the construction of this lineup moving forward. So that's really all I want to say about game 2. And it was good to see Zach Veen, draw a walk too. So baby steps with Zach
Baby
Veen.
steps. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it was nice to see Bryant hit 7th, and he actually went 2 for 4. So keep him down there. Keep him down there at 7. And they brought him back up to, was it 4 today? Number 3 or number 4 hitter today.
Yeah.
So it's just, what are we doing here? The guy's not.
Or not today. No. He didn't start today. I think
That's
it was
right.
this first. I think it was the first game. The first
Yeah, it was
game.
first game. Yeah, and he pinch hit today. That was my mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at least they put him in at number 7. That's where he should stay at, is 7 or 8. And he did okay. I mean, he was arguably one of the only best hitters for the Rockies in game 2. He went 2 for 4 and got a double. And in game 1, I believe, was it game 1 or game? Yeah, it might have been game 1. He almost hit a home run. But yeah,
I think no, that was against the A's.
that's right. That was in your game
Sunday.
Yeah, that was off the top of the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it's hard to keep all his home runs together. I get it, man.
Yeah,
there's so many of them.
Scarce, very scarce. But yeah, heading into today, so it was just all about like trying to wash last night off. Just try to forget about
one.
it.
Just get one.
Get a win. That's all that mattered. And then today's lineup, I liked a little bit better. The only issue I had a little bit of I had a question mark was Kyle Farmer at number 3. Usually that should be your best hitter. And while he is technically in some ways their best hitter by average, it should go to Brenton Doyle. Brenton Doyle at number 1 hasn't necessarily, I know he's hitting 302 right now with a 867 OPS, but that's because he's the only best hitter on the team right now. And I feel like Doyle should be the number 2, number 3 guy, not Kyle Farmer. And so I had a little, and Kyle Farmer though, he's holding his own, 1 for 4 today with a walk. We'll take that. But I wasn't a big fan of him at 3. Of course, Tovar, for those wondering, Tovar had a little bit of a hip issue, I think. So they're just taking care of that. No huge concerns there. So that's good.
McMahon, I have a thought on the lineup whenever you're done.
Okay. So McMahon at 4, I'm fine with it. He's hitting 295 now, so Mac is starting to heat up a little bit. Got a home run yesterday, second home run of the season for him, so that's good. Doyle, his 3rd home run. He's going to be an all-star this year. I think it's going to happen. Same thing with Tovar. But yeah, Doyle 5 RBI game today. But yeah, Mac 2 for 4 today, 295 on the season. Martini 318, but Martini, I don't know why, but I just feel like he's not hitting a 318. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's only gotten like 1 or 2 hits, in a series or something. He hasn't played a whole lot, but he is hitting decently at 318. But he went 0 for 2 today. But Sean Bouchard was able to pinch hit him, and that's one thing too. I will mention yesterday I didn't like Bouchard at number 2. Like, why is he at number 2? He's not a number 2 hitter. Toglia, this again is really good to see him because he's been really struggling. Again, he was on our who's hot, who's not list for this week. And again, stay tuned for next Sunday when we post our next who's hot, who's not for the week. But Toglia, man, he needed a day like today. 3 for 4 with an RBI, bumped up his batting average to 191. So that's good. Progress there. He got a double, so that's good. His 3rd double of the year. Let me see here. Tyler Freeman, he's off to a really poor start. He did get a walk, but he went over 3 today, hitting 091 to start the year. And defensively, we already talked about how Tyler Freeman has been
issues,
liability here in the infield, and not being able to communicate. That's one thing that Tyler's going to have to work on. Mickey Moniak, who I absolutely love. I'm one of his biggest fans here now. I'm becoming one of his biggest fans over here at Rockies now. He went 1 for 2. He was able to score 2 runs today, including 2 walks. That's big. 2 walks. I feel like we haven't seen a Rocky have 2 walks in one game in a long time, Adam. I don't know about you, but Mickey Moniak is OPS right now is is the highest on the team, 1.023. And so that's good, Adam. So Moniak, he deserves, I think, a spot in the outfield over Martini. That's my opinion. And for those Martini lovers out there, sorry, I'm going to say it. Moniak deserves a spot over Martini. Jacob Stallings, having a slow start over 2 today, hitting 118. And then Chris Bryant pinch hit, struck out, and he got a loud amount of boos today at Coors Field. I overheard it. I heard it when I was watching the game. Feel bad for the man, but it's not working out, man.
It's a performance business, sir.
Yeah, it's business. Yeah. And then Hunter Goodman, he was able to come in as defensively as the catcher replacement for Stallings. But yeah, Rockies, Brent Doyle, Zach Veen carried the Rockies to a win today. Not only that, but shout out to Ryan Feltner, man. Like I said, battled the flu today. 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 3 hits allowed,
Yep.
six innings there. Love to see it. Drops his ERA down to 281. Jake Bird was awful today. 3 walks in 1 inning, 1 hit allowed, 1 runner allowed. Did get a strikeout, but he was not good today.
Dude is a roller coaster, man. He's a roller coaster.
Emotions, and that first play of the game, I was when he came in, I was hoping that he was okay because he face planted into first base. I'm like, dude, I was shocked that he didn't lose teeth there. Maybe he did. I don't know, but hey, at least he was able to not. At least Alexander was able to come in, support him there. Alexander looked good today. Shout out to him for getting out of that bases loaded situation. And Seth Halverson, like we talked about, bounced back today after what happened last night. Got this. He did not get the save. I thought he got the save, but it was because we were up by 5. But he was able to close out the game. Got a strikeout there. So, hey, this is even though it's the Rockies are off to a horrible start, man. Like 3-9. And offense is bad right now. Pitching is actually pretty good. You got to like how this team responded, especially after a game like last night. So hats off to them for not giving up and coming back and winning today. And going against a starting pitcher that, I frankly, he's been good in his career. I mean, it's been young, but Quinn Priester, 5 innings today, 5 hits allowed, only 1 run, 4 strikeouts, with a 1.80 ERA this year. So, and the Brewers, they know how to pitch. So, good job, Rockies, and salvaging a win here and avoiding the sweep. So that's something that they can build on in the next series, Adam, because they're going to need some. This is the series where they absolutely need the offense to wake up, because they got big boys to face in San Diego and Los Angeles. Which, by the way,
yeah,
here.
Yeah, I think, Petco, I believe the Rockies are 49-42 all time at Petco. Somebody can fact check me on that one, but it is a place where they do play well. So, it's not a place where the offense is probably going to come alive because it's not a hitter's park. The Padres don't have a problem hitting there, of course, because that's, they got a good offense. But, I think the Rockies pitching will continue to flourish this weekend, the starting pitching. Outside of Senzatella, of course, who's just getting absolutely shelled every time he goes out there. It's hard for us to defend stuff like this, right? It's like, how can you how can you want us to take you serious when you're throwing guys like Senzatella? And I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever, but I really, at some point, don't really care about that very much. And I want to win baseball games. And there's a point where you just stop being loyal to guys because they're not performing. And I think that's where the Rockies fall short in a lot of ways when it comes to other franchises. But going back to game 3, Brenton Doyle is just absolutely on one. And I love that Spilly was talking about this during the broadcast, how he has completely changed his approach, gotten rid of the leg kick in these last 2 years. He's really spread out, so his feet are far apart, so it limits the actual movement of the head when he's swinging the bat. He keeps his barrel in the zone for a very long time, and I think he's just a super improved player, and I think he's just going to continue to get better and better. But talking about him and this lineup that we have, McMahon is quietly having a good season, 837 OPS, hitting close to 300, but he needs somebody there with him.
Mm-hmm.
So McMahon, Bryant is not it. Okay. So at some point, maybe this season, you might see a Brenton Doyle hitting third and McMahon hitting fourth. And what that means, though, is the Rockies are going to have to find a leadoff hitter. Now, I don't agree with you necessarily that Tovar should hit leadoff because he strikes out too much and he doesn't walk enough. You want a guy at leadoff who can do a little bit of that, right? He has the power and all of that. He's got pretty good speed, but he's not really a prototypical guy I would want at the top of the order. I wouldn't hate it, but the problem is the Rockies don't have anybody else, so that's probably why you brought up Tovar, which is fine. But ideally, I think later this year, if Bud Black allows these players to play, is when Amador comes up, you've got a bat-to-ball kid. He's known for not striking out. He's known for making contact. You put him at the top of the order. Okay, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but we have to start thinking about this lineup construction because it's not working. The offense is abysmal. And this season, I don't care what Nick Martini does. I don't care what Kyle Farmer does. They're not part of the future. They don't need to play, okay, as far as I'm concerned. And they don't need to play a lot, and they don't need to play at all when these other guys get called up. Fernandez and Amador, Beck comes back up. There's just no room for these guys, okay?
Yeah.
So maybe an Amador first, Veen second, Doyle third, Tovar fourth, McMahon fifth. You got to kind of stack these guys. Maybe you don't move McMahon down that far.
Yeah.
But you got to do something. So we can't have whatever the Rockies are doing right now because, again, 7 strikeouts again today, even though they won the game. And really, the only reason they won is because of Brenton Doyle, right? And when this starts happening, teams are just going to pitch around him because the Rockies don't have anybody else that they fear. So that's what's going to end up happening there. I think maybe if you move Tolia in a spot behind McMahon in front of McMahon or in front of Doyle, maybe it gives him a little bit of protection. He is swinging the bat a little bit better, though. So he had 2 hits today, I think, right?
Yeah.
2 hits. Yeah. And he got not the game-winning RBI, but the go-ahead RBI. And one other thing that bothers me about Bud Black, it's a 1-1 game. Martini's up to the plate and a lefty pitcher's on the mound. We don't have to pinch hit every single time. We don't have to bring the righty in every time. Like it's just ridiculous the way that managers run stuff these days. I don't care what the analytics say most of the time. It's just like, dude, let your left-handed hitter face a left-handed pitcher because at some point this year, you're going to get stuck in a situation where he's going to have to face the left-handed pitcher. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't understand doing that in a 1-1 game in, like, the 5th inning, wasn't it, when he pinch hit Bouchard? And Bouchard struck out. Yeah. So it's like, what are you doing? I could see if, like, there's bases loaded or there's one guy on third and there's less on an out and you want to get Bouchard up there because he's like 850 OPS against left-handed pitching or whatever. But in that situation, there's nobody on base. It just doesn't make sense. Stop doing that. I just don't understand what he's doing half the time. But yes, it was good to see the Rockies pull one out. I know everyone wants to petition for me to get season tickets because they only win when I go. I probably can't do that. But
make him do it, folks. Make him do it.
I think they will improve offensively as the season goes along, so long as Bud Black starts writing the lineup in a way that benefits the whole team. And right now, I don't think he's doing that. And just on a side note, I said this in a comment yesterday, and this is going to rub people the wrong way. But if Mike Malone can get fired after winning a championship, what is Bud Black doing in his spot? What are we doing?
True point.
You know what I mean? Like, what has he done?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, who wants that job? And I'm like, well, have we looked?
Yeah.
Nobody wants a job that's taken. So, but, you give Bud Black another extension and it's just insanity, at this point. And I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever. But, again, I want to win baseball games. I want to develop the young talent. I want to see these guys flourish and get better. I'm not interested in seeing Kyle Farmer bat 300 times this year.
Yeah.
I'm just, are you
Yeah.
with me on that, Steve?
Yeah, here. I'm gonna say this because it reminds me of Moneyball, where I don't know, like because I feel like the Rockies, maybe they're already doing this, maybe they were already ahead of us on this, but maybe they should do what they did in Moneyball. Like, look at the numbers. Like, does this guy do well in the third spot? Does he do well in the fourth batter spot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't have this guy playing at first base when this guy should be playing at first base, right? Um, and I will say this. Maybe I think the reason why they're keeping Bud Black around here is because they want to redo what they did in 2017, 2018 with the rotation because there was a young rotation back then. Remember, right?
It
You had Freeland.
was.
John Gray was, he was now becoming that everyday starter. He was now their ace. And Tyler Anderson was their Chad Bettis. Loved Chad Bettis, man. He was so good. I loved that man to death. But the Rockies had a younger rotation, and they wanted a pitching manager because, frankly, in their entire organization, I think Bud Black was the very first Rockies manager ever to be a pitcher because all their other previous managers were hitters. And what's so interesting, Adam, is that if you go back before Bud Black was hired as manager, the Rockies they had really, like, every single Rockies team you can think of. What did they have? They had incredibly good hitting teams, right? The Rockies led the league in offense every year up until Bud Black stepped in the door as manager. And then what happened to the offense? It just fell off the earth. So that's I'm not going to go on a rant here and say fire Bud Black right now because I want to be more of a positive guy. Everyone knows that. But like we over here at Rockies now, we don't like to see people lose their jobs, but we do have issues in areas like, again, Adam has his issues with Bud Black. I have my issues with Bud Black. I'm sure Tom has his issues with Bud Black. But yeah,
It's a
like
performance business.
it's
Perform or
yeah,
go.
yeah,
That's it.
and see, like when the Rockies, and I told Adam this before we started, when the Rockies re-signed Bud Black in the offseason, I was kind of shocked. I was like, after 100-loss season, back-to-back years, like it's like, yeah, I was like, what are we doing here? What's the plan? But then I realized, okay, I'll be gracious as a Rockies fan. We'll be gracious enough to keep you one more year. But if there's another 100-loss season, he's got to be out. He's got to. And I was thinking about this the other day. I think if the Rockies continue going on this losing streak, like if the Rockies do horribly on the road in California and continue to play horribly at home, I think Bud Black should be out of here. I'm sorry, but there needs to be some sort of new look on the bench, but also new philosophy. There's something that they need to bring because it's not because the players are bad. I don't think the players are bad, Adam. I don't think I think you would agree with me on that. Zach Veen ain't bad. McMahon's not bad. Totally, it's not bad. It's just we got to see something different, and I think this team needs a little bit more fresh eyes, a little bit more of like, hey, let's change this up. Let's try this instead of like, hey, we need to do. It's just we need to see something different. And again, we'll give Bud Black his due because it's a tough division, but we need to see something new. And I think looking at Walt Weiss here when Walt Weiss was here in Colorado, I thought he was a great manager when he was with the Rockies. And I think that some people gave Walt Weiss the wrong shoulder, if that's the word I'm going to put it. Walt Weiss actually really, in some ways, prepared this Rockies team for the greatness that it became in 17 and 18, right? We played Trevor Story, right? And I'm not saying that Bud Black played Trevor Story, right, in 2017, but Walt Weiss played Trevor Story. They called him up. They let him play. They didn't go out and get a free agent hitter, or shortstop, right? But I'm not going to say, well, Bud Black stinks because no, I'm just saying that if there is some sort of continuation of this, Adam, where the Rockies are like, let's just say they start the year 5-20, Bud Black should lose his job. And it's just because this team needs a different look. You get what I mean? Like it's time to move on, right?
They need a manager who's going to play the kids.
Yeah, and Tom, I agree with him, and we've talked about it before too. Like regardless of what the record is, this should be his last year, and I think he's even mentioned with I think Denver Post or whoever or whatever Rockies writers out there. I think Bud Black has hinted that he is going to be retiring at some point. So I would imagine that this would be his last year. But he's also said that he wants to be with the team like when they get back to the postseason, and that's great if Bud wants that. But
they're not going to get there with him.
you I it's hard to say. I firmly believe that. Is there a chance that he could bring this team back to the playoffs? Maybe not because of him exactly. Maybe because of the players, the talent that we have. Um, but again, we'll see. I'm not going to go out and say, once we fire Bud Black, we'll be in the playoffs. But I do think that there should be some sort of change that Bud Black can do. If he's not willing to do that, then it's time to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Rockies to make the playoffs. I'm not backing off of that prediction because I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
My prediction was made, and I didn't tell anybody this, was made with Bud Black being replaced during the season. Because we have to play Veen. We can't do this whole you get 20 at bats, you only got 3 hits, Jordan Beck, now you're going down. Yeah, you can't have purple hair. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We need something, to your point that you said earlier, we need something fresh. We need something exciting.
We need juice. We need juice.
This is a stale brand right now. And this is why these fans and you and me and Lux and all these guys, we are starving for Zach Veen. We are starving for Dolander. We want to see these guys. I'm sorry, with all due respect to Kyle Farmer and Nick Martini, I don't want to see those guys. Put those guys on a different team. They don't belong here. This is not the plan. The plan is Veen, Beck, Doyle, Tovar, McMahon, Amador, Tolia, Romo. This is the plan. So why aren't we doing this? You know what I mean? It's like playing Kyle Farmer and Nick Martini does what for the Rockies? You know, like, and I'm not trying to be negative, guys. I'm just telling you that the positivity that I have towards the Rockies is the young talent. I want to watch the young talent. I don't want to watch these guys play.
Martini,
I don't want to see Kyle Farmer hitting third in any scenario.
Yeah.
That is just
I think I will say that I think we want to see Martini and Farmer do well, obviously, because we're Rockies fans, but we want to see them build that trade talent, because the Rockies, one thing that they have done is that they've been able to trade players in the past, like Randall Grichuk, CJ Crone, Pierce Johnson. They got really good returns, right? They got Victor Vodnik in that return for the Brad Hand trade a couple years back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to see. Like, we're fine with Martini and Farmer being here for at least half a year, not the entire season, taking away playing time. Then that's when it becomes an issue. Like, that's when we say, hey, we need to stop this. Like, I think it's just, we got to see these young ball players play. And I think it's promising for us to at least that, hey, at least they didn't wait until like June or July to call Veen up. Like, I think he's ready. And I think we've seen that over the last couple of games. Veen is ready. He's ready. He's a dog. He's hungry. That's one word I'll use. Zach Veen is hungry, man. Feed the dog, and he'll grow. And who knows what Zach Veen can do. And this guy is only 23 years old, Adam. It's not like he's 25, 26. Zach Veen still has all these years. And I think if I'm correct, Zach Veen is slightly younger or right on the same age as Tovar. But yet, Zach Veen, man, like he's got all these tools, and I'm excited for Zach Veen, man. I just seeing, I know he didn't have all the series that we could have wished for, like where he hits a home run in his first big league at bat. Almost got a home run today. Again, it was off the end of the bat. But dude, I'm so excited for Zach Veen, man. Like, the guy has the celebration. I think he was doing like the bong celebration today. If you saw that, I love it. Bring it on. We want more of that. And it's just like, and again, I don't know if I don't think it was Bud Black that said this. I could be wrong. I think was it Patrick Lyons or Patrick Saunders wrote an article or something about it. But yeah, about how, Zach Veen had to change his hair, and it's just like, let him be him. Like, be like PCA. PCA has blue hair. Let him be him.
We need a culture change.
Yeah, and so
straight up,
we need, a guy like Zach. We need more firepower. We need more juice in this lineup, in the franchise. We need like we started out as a guy like Charlie Blackmon, who really fired this team up. And really took the team under his wing. And I think we think that Zach Veen can be that guy.
Well, and the thing too, Steve, is we're gonna hear if we ever talk to Bud Black directly, right? It would never happen. But if we ever did, he would say, well, it's important to have veteran leaders, blah, 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 blah. Dude, we have McMahon. We have Freeland. You don't need more than that. You don't need more than that. You don't need veteran guys just because they're veterans and they're not good. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's frustrating as a Rockies fan. And like I said, guys, I'm positive about the future of this franchise, but I am fed up with Bud Black and his mismanagement of all these players. It's just got to change, and like Tom said, it's got to be his last year. It's got to be.
No excuses.
No matter what.
Another 100-loss season, he's not allowed to come back next year. Sorry, but it's just we were tired of this. We can't see another 100-loss season of like hardly any change and say, yeah, well, we'll have the young players play for a little bit, then I'm going to go with no. That's not what we're here for, because you're going to lose the fan base, man. You're going to lose the fan base like entirely. And we're already seeing it, man. Like, I mean,
yeah, people aren't showing up, man.
People aren't showing up. You look at the stands in this past series. Lux can, tell us, because Lux.
I can too. I was at Dolander's debut, and people were only there because it was a nice day out.
But also,
and
I thought that Zach Veen's debut game would be a pretty good, show. Maybe not a sellout, but I thought, no, nobody showed up. When I watched the game, I was shocked of how many seats that were empty. Well, maybe I wasn't shocked because of the team performance to start the year, and plus, again, coming off of back-to-back 100-loss seasons. But I'm like shocked. People love the Rockies here in Denver. Everyone knows that. And again, Tom can share about his White Sox. Nobody's going to White Sox games because the product on the field is bad, and it's not because there's no hope. It's just that they're tired of seeing losing baseball. And here in Denver, we want to see winning baseball, and I think it's coming. It's just that we need a change of philosophy when it comes to Bud Black. We need to see some changes here, because if it doesn't change, he's got to get out of here. So,
well, and the last thing I'll say before we go on to our last topic here, I know we're running a little long tonight. Sorry, fellas, but we don't have to be the Dodgers. We don't have to spend all this money. Okay, go out and throw a bag at somebody in the Cleveland organization or somebody in the Tampa Bay organization. These similar Milwaukee, these similar franchises that don't spend a lot of money and have to depend on player development. These teams are thriving in that department, and the Rockies are just not. They're just not doing it. They don't commit to the young players. Cleveland has, like, I think I looked it up. They had like the third most wins in MLB since like 2015 or something like that, behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and
that's a model franchise for the Rockies to follow.
And I think that as a team, the Guardians are worth less than the Rockies are, and their payroll, I think, might be even lower than the Rockies. I might be wrong.
So, hey, Dick and Charlie, if you're listening, please, man, hire a president of baseball operations, please.
Yeah, we're not exactly telling you to sell the team. Just hire somebody. You don't have to sell the team. You don't have to pay big money to every free agent. We just bring in a baseball person that knows
to make baseball decisions from another organization. So that you can compete with the Dodgers. You've openly expressed that you're upset about how good the Dodgers are and how they take advantage of the system. Do something about it. We are begging you, man, please.
Yeah.
And we will come to the ballpark, and you will make lots of money. Exactly. I promise you.
Winning ball games means more money. Yeah.
Somebody send this to this man, please. Send the clip.
Lux, clip it.
So anyway, on a more positive note or a more exciting note, what do you got, Steve?
So in a more positive, again, once we wrap up, we'll tell you about the next series for the Rockies. But let's look at some City Connect leaks, shall we? Let me pull it up here. So the Rockies on Saturday, which is just 2 days from recording this video. Here we go. Let me pull it up. There we go. So we have some teams that are releasing their new City Connect uniforms. I'm sure many of you have already seen this, but there's the Red Sox, which I feel like they could have done more with it. Like, why not?
There was a kid online. I can't remember his handle on Instagram, but he made a green monster inspired jersey, and it was exquisite. This is like they put 2 hours of effort into it and called it a day.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
mean, I
come on,
like
man.
I like the stripes, but where's the red? I want to see some red in there, like maybe
Yeah,
some
there's
red
just
numbers here.
yeah.
But
I
it's
don't
just
know.
Red Sox. Okay. B.
Cool.
Okay. But yeah, like where's the numbers? Like I like the detail on the bottom there of like the green monster there, the out numbers, and I think the whatever that is. That's cool. But other than that, it's just like, like I
Let's give the people what they
the
want and talk about the Rockies.
yeah. And we'll get to the Rockies here in just a second. So yeah, they just kind of talk about that. And again, this is uniwatch.com, so shout out to those guys. Miami, those. I love Miami's. I know it looks, pretty, like again, no numbers here. But I love the pink trim on the sleeves here. I love the logo on the side there, kind of call back to the old retro Florida Marlins logo. I love that. I like the pink, but again, we're seeing a lot of pink in these recent City Connects with the Giants. They're kind of growing on me, but actually in person, when I watched the Giants jerseys, they didn't look good. Like I saw
Oh, they
Kim
already
wearing it.
wore
I'm
them.
like, yeah, they already wore. I think we wore them yesterday. Was it Adam or the other day? I forget. It was one. It
I
was
try
either
not.
yesterday or the day before.
I try not to pay
um,
attention to horrific uniforms.
this looks good. I like if they have like a teal or light blue like undershirts with each jersey, that or like
That
it's
one
gonna
is
look good.
sick, dude.
I love it. I love it. And I like that. Like, again, of course, there's no numbers. There going to be numbers and names on the back, but that's going to look cool, I think. I'm going to like this. White Sox, Tom's team. I actually like these. And I think Tom might like these as well. Again, Tom, I don't know if you're in the comments still. I want to hear what he thinks of it. I like these. I really do. I know they look a lot like, the Bulls inspired jerseys, but I like them, man. Like
Those are
the red.
amazing.
I like the red vest. It actually looked like a vest. Like I want to see more vest jerseys. Like bring it back the Rockies black vests for crying out loud. Um, I like it. I really do. And again, it could look really, really cool. I mean, again, they could have done something maybe a little bit more on the top or something, or maybe I don't know. Like Chicago's fine. I like Chicago, but maybe put something on the top there. I don't know, maybe like a White Sox hat or just like art or something. I don't know, or the stadium, or I don't know, or like out in center field where they have those things out in center field. Maybe do something like that. I don't know. But they look fun. I like them. I like the pinstripe. That looks good. I like the sock. That looks good. But yeah, it's inspired by the Bulls jersey. Of course, these are already released. The Astros, we already know about them. We already shared it. I love the Nationals New Jerseys. I don't know about you, Adam, but I actually like these. I like
They are
the light
nice. They're
blue.
solid.
They're nice. They're nice jerseys. And plus, they have like the map of DC in the back. That's good. I like it. And it kind of reminds me a little bit like their original ones, the cherry blossom jerseys. They did it's kind of a similar design, but a little bit different. I love it. And plus the DC logo. That's a throwback. I love it. Love it.
Wait, Steven, hold on for a second.
Yeah,
For a second. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Do the Nats and the White Sox and the Red Sox and the Marlins, they all have buttons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. White
Just
Sox do.
prefacing.
Yeah. Red Sox do.
Buttons
Marlins do. Yeah.
and the design goes all the way down the shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Just
Astros do
prefacing.
too. Astros. Yeah, Astros
Just
have
prefacing.
buttons. Nationals have buttons. Now, I will say the Nationals, white navy. It's kind of a weird look. Again, you've probably seen the jersey, folks. It has that W on the side. That's not buttoned, and I think that's actually one of their alternate jerseys. But then I think we get to the Rockies here. No, okay. We already talked about the Giants. Yeah. At first I was like, actually, these are not too bad. But then in person, I looked at I was watching the game. I'm like, these don't look good. Like the hat is okay, but like, nah, yeah. Well, then again, we've shown this, but here's the Rockies. It's I've said this many times. I've said this on the previous broadcast or recap or podcast, whatever you call it. I like the colors, Adam, but the design is okay. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is supposed to go here in the purple? Like, where's the number? Where's the button?
I'm telling you what, if there's nothing there when they release this, I'm not buying one. Like, what, you can't just have a flat purple bottom half of that shirt. Like, it's just a t-shirt.
Yeah, it looks like a t-shirt, man.
Yeah, and on top of that, they've got the wishbone collar, and it's a pullover, and fans out there too, it's a sublimated jersey. It's not even embroidered. So it's
Yeah.
basically just like I mean, my baseball team that I play for wears a similar, it's just a pullover with sublimated text on it. It's
Yeah.
so lazy.
Other than the
Um,
Nationals, new alternate jerseys, I think this is going to be, if this is in fact the jersey, this is going to be the only jersey in baseball that does not have buttons, and it's just like, what are we doing?
well, and that's not even my biggest problem. It's that
Yeah.
half purple. Remember when they did the Avalanche Stadium Series jersey against
Yeah.
the Kings or whoever it was that was in Colorado Springs, and
Yeah.
it had an A right here, and then the rest was like nothing.
Yeah. I
That's what
didn't like
this
that.
is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Nike was like, "Oh, well, we should do that again." It was no, we hated that. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Like there has to be there's got to be a number there or I'm really hoping that that is not the finished product because that is not acceptable. Like and even if it was, bring the blue down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and so that it doesn't say
Yeah.
Bakis instead
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Rockies
Yeah. It looks like Bakis.
and
And
then
I will say, like, I don't like the mountain logo because that's just like we've seen that logo so
lazy.
many times. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, like, can we see a different mountain logo? Like maybe just like an outline of a different mountain. Like that would be fine. Or maybe just like do purple. Like, but yeah, like I agree with Lux. Maybe a little bit too much purple here. I love the pink. I love the sunset color because that's supposedly what this is supposed to be. Awesome. Like we were thinking about maybe like, oh, it's gonna be like a Red Rocks theme. I'm fine with the sunset theme, but it's just um like where's the numbers, where the where are the buttons, and then of course the big key here is what are the what are the pants going to look like. I would imagine is
They're gonna be blue.
I think they're going to be blue. I'm going to be like looking at it, I mean it's, I could see it looking decent. um I'm wondering what the size are going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be pink, or either like that light or that whatever the light yellowish color, whatever it is. It's gonna look interesting. Um, I think it could it's gonna look decent, but the front, man, it's just I'm not buying it.
Well, here's the
The
thing.
yeah,
And I just want everybody to know, Steven, I'm just a passionate fan. I'm very
yeah,
opinionated. I
yeah,
try to be as positive as I can, but Steven brought me in for a reason. Okay. And I keep it PC, but I'm very opinionated. Okay. So here's the thing. If we're going to do a city connect uniform, why doesn't it say Mile High City? Why doesn't it say Blake Street? Why
Blake Street,
is the
yeah, Blake Street, yeah.
why is
I
the
would love
word
the Blake Street.
Rockies? Why is the word Rockies covered? Like three
Yeah,
letters are completely covered by the what are you doing, man? Like I'm
yeah,
just like so confused.
yeah. Well, I
Put
mean,
put put
yeah,
Blake Street on it.
that would pop. A
That would
pop.
be sick, dude. Or Mile High City like the Nuggets have.
Yeah.
That would be incredible, dude. But
Well,
like
if I mean, folks, if you're listening or watching this, if you like don't like the jerseys, I mean, again, I'm not going to go out and say I hate these already, but like we'll see once they play on the field because again, like the Giants look good. I thought they looked good when they released them, like the leaks came out, but then when they played them on the field, I'm like, I don't necessarily like that now. The Rockies, who knows? Maybe this will actually, and I'm hoping that these are not the actual jerseys, but if these are, I'm gonna wait till the game. And again, I prefer buttons, but I'm gonna wait till the game. If they look cool on the field, like a day game at Coors Field, this could pop. Maybe
sure.
that's a heavy maybe.
It's not gonna
But
get me to buy it though.
yeah, and I think I want to say okay, so it will be released in 2 days, so on Saturday. So stay tuned for our social medias. Um, I think they're gonna play these on the 18th, which is a
The
Friday.
18th. Yeah.
So, and that's usually night games. So that's the downside of it. And because it would actually, I think it would look cool on day games, right? But I mean, it is a sunset jersey, so it makes sense they do it on a Friday night sunset. Okay, I get it, but there
I
are
tell you
problems.
what, they better not have white pants because it just
No,
doesn't. There's no
I
white
don't
in
think
the
I
uniform.
don't think they will. I really don't think they will.
The
Well, they can't.
blue,
There's
purple,
no
blue would
There's
look
no white in
sick.
the, yeah, like what you said, there's no white in their colors. So it's like you can't. Like if you saw the leaks of the shoes, and they might release the socks too, but they look like this again, bottom half, like the pants all the way down could look really, really good. The back of the jersey could look really good. The only problem is the front, which we have not seen the back of the jersey. And that's the strange thing about these leaks is that we saw all the leaks of these other jerseys, the front and the back, except the Rockies, which I'm kind of wondering about. So I don't know. Fingers crossed that these are actually not the jerseys, but I have a feeling that they are, because if you looked at the Rockies, teaser, if you want to call it that they released the other day, of just like, it was just plain mountains, but they had like the colors. It was the same
What
colors as these jerseys. So,
what
about,
does that
yeah,
have to do with the city of Denver? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, I think again, it's the sunsets at Coors Field. I understand it, like, so
yeah,
I'm okay.
but it should say so. This is my problem with the City Connects league wide. It doesn't ever say anything about the city. It's always the state.
Yeah,
So it's like, why can't you do
my high city of
Blake?
like
Dude, Blake Street would look so sick.
yeah,
Imagine that.
black and like all black with purple text. Ooh, that would hit. Like, I'm not gonna say the drug, but you get it.
Yeah, or
um,
Chicago, Windy City. Like that's a City Connect jersey, dude.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not paying $150 for a t-shirt though. I'm not doing it. I'll
Well,
pay
if it's
40
like, if it goes on
bucks.
sale, I mean, if it goes on sale, maybe I'll buy it. And again, I agree with like the shoes. They look really really good. When I saw the shoes, it reminded me of like the 80s 90s, style of shoes. Like the colors, it's just like, ooh, I love it.
And
And then the jerseys are like, what is this?
I don't want to come off as like complaining, but dude, we're 3-9, whatever, 3-10.
People are
Give
not gonna
us
like that. Yeah.
at least give us a nice uniform.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the nice thing about 2022, that like I mean, it was debatable when it came out, but over time people started like loving our City Connect jerseys, and maybe that'll be the case here. I hope that's the case. It's not like Adam and I are saying, "Oh, these are horrible." It's just like, what? No, we want these jerseys to look well. It's just that based off of our reactions, they do not look great.
I'm sure the team will look fine, especially with
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
pants. That would look cool. But as for
yeah,
us fans, like it's supposed to be for the fans, right? We're supposed to
yeah.
want to wear the jersey.
We
And
want to
I'm
be,
telling,
yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah, Blake Street Bombers would be intimidating, because it's just like, hey, nobody wants to face the Bombers instead of just the Rockies, like, or the Bockies. So, but anyways, we'll find out in 2 days. I think we'll be fine, folks. Don't worry. Um, Anyways, we gotta get moving here. So let's head into the next series for the Rockies. Again, the Rockies will be traveling out to California. First series against the Padres. That's not going to be an easy matchup. The Padres, man, they look really, really good to start the season, and yet they've been decimated by injuries, man, like all over. But they're still playing good baseball. We'll have to wait and see if that continues. Herman Marquez will be pitching Game 1. He's been pitching decent, except in his last start, didn't do so well, but we're hoping Marquez has a bounce back game. And I feel like Marquez has done pretty well against the Padres in his career. So that's a positive there. Chase Dollander will be pitching Game 2. And I think Freeland's pitching Game 3. Am I correct? I'm
I would
My
assume
iPad
so.
died. Yeah, I would assume so. My iPad died. So sorry, folks. You're going to have to
But
wait.
I would say the way the Rockies are playing, and I know you and Tom will cover this series. The way the Rockies are playing, this is going to be one of those series where they're going to have a chance to win all 3 games. And probably tomorrow night, it's going to be like 2-2 in the 8th inning. The Rockies are going to load the bases,
And can't score.
and they're going to have a chance. Yeah. So I feel like it's just going to be one of those frustrating series where they can pitch, but they just still can't get that hit, And it's at some point you got to eat the Chris Bryant thing. At some
Yeah.
point you have to stop playing Kyle Farmer. Like it's just I don't know what
I'm excited for Tyler Estrada, man, because he should be coming back in the next few weeks. Fingers crossed. He's still sitting on the bench, I think. I saw him today on the bench. So
yeah,
at least
he's
he's with the
there.
team. But like, I'm excited for Tyler Estrada, man, because Estrada still is 29 years old. And dude, he was so good in spring training. I know he had a rough year last year, and that's the thing I'm concerned about. Like, when Estrada comes back, he's going to be kind of in that zone. It's like, I don't want to get hurt again, and he just underperforms. But man, I mean, Amador, he's having a really good start in AAA.
We're gonna see him soon.
Oh, we're going to see him for sure this year. I mean, again, I'm anticipating. I think the Rockies, if Martini and Farmer continue playing like this, they're going to be good trade pieces at the deadline at best. And hey, I mean, there's also always a possibility the Rockies DFA one of these guys or both. They did it with Jerks and Profar. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see those guys come up, and I think I think a lot of people are expecting this, but we're going to see a very different Rockies team in the second half. Very different. I think we're going to see it. And I'm excited for it. Like, let's bring it on. Bring up the youth. We just want to see it. Like the Rockies, if we lose 100 games this year, but we see the entire lineup of mostly, if not almost all young players, we're here for it. We just want to see. We just want to see progress. We want to see the young kids develop because you can't develop players if they can't play. So just our rant, a little mini rant from Adam and me tonight. But final
I mean,
comment. Yeah,
I
go
mean the
ahead.
series. I mean, after a series like this, it's like you got to change something. You got one guy hitting. You got one guy knocking in runs.
Great win today, but still, like they scored.
It was
30 runs in the series.
It was all Doyle. It was all Doyle.
All Doyle. Yeah.
More guys need to produce.
A little bit of Zach Veen. But yeah, like the Brewers, they scored almost 30 runs in this series, and I thought the starting pitching was decent. Maybe other than game 2, but it's just the offense, man. And I don't necessarily. And again, I know we're going a little bit late here. I don't necessarily blame Bam Bam Mullins because again, he was with the Giants World Series teams in 2010, 2012, 2014. Those offenses were amazing. It's the weird thing that why did it not succeeding in Colorado? And you're playing in Coors Field. That's the thing that I scratch my head at night. It's like, why is the offense not doing well? And listen, it's a younger team, but still, there's still some question mark. And maybe, again, it's early in the season. The Rockies offense did improve last year, Adam, and we talked about that during the offseason. We saw improvement from Doyle broke out, Tovar broke out. We got to see that, man. If it doesn't improve, something's got to change. So,
well, quickly, there's 2 problems with the Rockies offense. They are taking too many first pitch strikes.
Yeah.
Against Oakland on Sunday, when they were raking, they hit the first pitch. They attacked the first pitch. Yep. Okay. And then after that, the other problem is when they get fastballs in the zone, they're missing them. Yep. And I don't mean like they're swinging through them all the time, and they are, but they're fouling them off. It's like we need to get those in play. And I'm not a professional baseball player by any means, but we get paid to talk about this, and that's what I see when I watch the game. It's like they're always in a 2-strike count. They're always taking that first pitch. It's like they're not the hitting approach, the philosophy, whatever it is that what you want to call it, is just not working. So hopefully, starting this weekend,
that changes.
They'll make a change. Yep.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that on our social medias. And a little announcement, since it's kind of related to Rockies now, I guess. Our 5280 Media website is now live. Again, it's still kind of empty because we don't have any articles out there, but you might see some exclusive Rockies articles on that website. But if you want to read our Rockies articles, go ahead and check out our Rockies website. Link is in our bio on Instagram, and it should be on our bio on X. So go check that out. We have a new article coming out by Gabe. We're not going to say what it is, but it's a pretty good one. I actually was in talks about him. So it's going to be awesome. Again, if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. We're excited for that. Stay tuned for our next series. I believe it's going to be me and Tom in the next recap. That's going to be coming, I believe, Wednesday. No, I take that back. Sunday. So, stay tuned for that recap. And again, if you don't follow us at Rockies Now here on YouTube, we'd love to have you over here. We're over 100, I believe, 10 subscribers. I think we're at 114. So that's great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And if you don't follow us on Instagram at Rockies Now, feel free to do so. We actually just passed 5,000 followers the other day. So we're growing over here. So we appreciate you guys. If you want to follow Adam at Mile High Mez on Instagram. Follow me at Stephen Cross 4 on X. And we'll answer your baseball questions as much as we can.
Anytime.
That's what we do. Folks, have a wonderful day. As always, go Rockies.
Go Rockies.